December. So this week we're gonna have a little bit of a different video format. I have been under the weather almost all week, but I still wanted to be able to give you all our DIY December video. So this week I'm filming focusing more on the details of what we're doing, explaining things, and less shots of me. And that just lets me kind of rest a little bit more this week, but still be able to share a really fun project with you guys and get our DIY December out to you. So I hope that you still enjoy the video just as much as our regular videos, and next week we will be back to normal with our typical videos that we have where you're able to see me and we can interact with each other. So this week we are making DIY Christmas gifts, and I wanted to get this one out to you guys early in December so that you have lots of time to make and create gifts for friends and family. That's something that I really like to do every year. I really like to make one gift and buy one gift for every person that I'm gifting to, and I think it just makes it a lot more special and thoughtful and shows the effort that's going into it, and it's also just really fun for me to do. So I wanted to share some of the gifts that I'm going to be doing this year with you all so that you could maybe do some of these for your friends and family too. So we are going to be making 3 gifts for the holidays or Christmas or whatever it is that you celebrate, or even just birthdays throughout the year. Hope that you all enjoy, and don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see more videos like this. I put out new videos every Thursday and Sunday for the month of December, so there's lots and lots of great videos coming your way, and we will have a new video on Thursday. Alright guys, so we are going to start off by making some charcoal soap. We're going to use this goat's milk melt and pour soap base. I got this on Amazon, and it comes in 2 blocks like this, and each of these is 1 pound, so it's 2 pounds total in the packaging. And so we're going to make our charcoal soap with just 1 pound of our soap. So to start off, we're going to remove plastic that's on the soap. And this is honestly such an easy gift to make, and people love it. I mean, who doesn't like a nice soap? You could put it in a basket or with another gift or by itself. It's just a really good one to make. So we're going to start off by cutting our soap into little tiny cubes. And this is just going to make it easier to melt it down. This is also a great gift to give to like friends or neighbors, because you can make a lot of it in one go, and it really only takes like 15 minutes to make. Alright, so we'll cut it into cubes and then transfer it to whatever container you're going to melt it in. You could do a container like I have. This is for making candles, so it can be heated on the stove like this, or you could just put it in a microwave safe container and microwave it in 30-second intervals and just stir it until the soap is entirely melted. Either way will work exactly the same. So if you don't have a container like I do, or a pot that you're willing to kind of sacrifice to the soap, then I would just put it in a bowl and microwave it until it's all melted. Super easy, only takes a couple minutes. So the first soap that we're making right now is a activated charcoal soap. It's detoxifying, so anyone that has any kind of skin problems or likes to really take care of their skin and detoxify it and make sure that it's super clean, this is a great one for them. It's also just a good soap in general. The next soap that we're making is going to be a lavender soap, and so that one's obviously, because it's lavender, very soothing and calming. It's going to be calming for your skin, but it also has lavender essential oil, so the scent of it will be very soothing as well. Kind of 2 ends of the spectrum so that you have a soap that works for everyone. All right, so now that we have it all cut up and in our container, we're going to put it on the stove and turn it on to about like a medium setting so that it starts to melt down. And we'll just mix this as it melts, and when it's all melted, then I'll show you what we'll add in to get our soap going. Okay, so now that our soap is entirely melted down and there's no lumps or anything like that, we're going to add in our activated charcoal. So I got this bag right here. It's a huge bag for what we're going to need, but if you want to make more soap in the future, then it's a really good one. So you are going to get charcoal on your hands. It's just kind of the way it is. But we're going to add about 1 tablespoon to our mixture. So I'm going to do like a rough estimate here. About like that. And then we're gonna mix it up so it's nice and mixed in. Oop. Try and let it kind of like dissolve into the soap mixture. So just keep mixing it for a little bit until it's all mixed in. Okay, so now it is all melted in. You can see that it's not just floating on the top anymore. That's what you want. That way when you pour it into the mold, it gives an even coating of charcoal to every piece of soap instead of just the first piece of soap. So you really want to make sure it's thoroughly melted into your soap. So now what we're going to do is turn the stove off. If you did it in the microwave, then it's already out and it's mixed in and you're good to go. We're going to take our mold, and I have these little silicone rectangle ones. There's lots of different kinds that you can get. I'll link this one for you guys if you want to use this. It's super, super easy to use. And we're going to just pour it into our mold, and then we'll let it cool and our soap will be ready to go. Okay, so now our last step is just to pour the soap into the mold. And I like to pour it almost to the top, but not all the way, so it doesn't overflow. It should make about 5 soaps. Maybe 5.5. Yeah, so this one's gonna be a little baby soap. Oh no, that made a good bit actually. And then we just leave them to cool, and once they're cool, then we can pop them out of the molds and they're ready to go. So the kit that I got came with these little silicone molds. It came with 4 of these, and then it also came with some little baggies to put your soap into, and they're just little plain ones like this. So I thought we could use these to wrap them for gifts and then just put like a pretty little bow around it to make it look a little nicer. So we're gonna pop them out of the molds. We have 5 full-size ones this amount of soap made. This was 1 pound of soap, and then it made 1 little mini one. So super easy, just pop it on out. And here's our soap. So what I like about adding the real lavender in is that this is going to be an exfoliating property as well as the soothing part of having the lavender essential oil and the oils from the live lavender. Just gonna pop this little guy in here. And this will just protect it. If you have any other gifts nearby, you won't get soap all over it or get the gift all over your soap. I'm going to wrap a little ribbon around this and then we can do the other. So we'll start with it face down. That way we can do this little crisscross technique and have the bow be on the front. And this will also hold the little Ziploc part down for us so you don't see it. Just cut this little edge right here. And there's our little soap. I think it's super cute. You could add like a dried orange slice in here or like a little sprig of cinnamon or some dried lavender sprigs, whatever you want to do. And this is the perfect gift for friends and family. I'm gonna put this, I'm giving this to a few friends and family. They know not to watch this video, so it's okay. But one of them I'm gonna put in a little basket that I'm making for my sister-in-law who is about to have a baby. So it's kind of like her post-baby basket. So we are going to pop out the other 5 that we have and do the exact same thing. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is make a little book corner cover. So this is a really good one for people that you know in your life that love to read, that are really avid readers, especially if they're someone that doesn't like to fold the corners of the pages of their book. I am making this gift for my little sister. She has always been a really big reader. She reads 24/7. She actually is an English teacher now. That's how much she loves to read. And she in particular really does not like folding the corners of her pages down. It bothers her a lot, so this is going to be a great gift for her. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a little triangular corner cover that we're going to embroider to put over the page so that you know where you left off. So I just grabbed any book that we had. This is an old architecture book that we had on our coffee table. Just like a standard size book is what you're going to want to use. And then I have this felt fabric, and I actually already had this fabric because I'm going to make some reusable paper towels with it, and to make those you need felt because they'll stick to each other on your paper towel roll. So I'm just going to use a little tiny piece of this fabric, and then I'll still have all of this left to make my paper towels. You want to find the corner of your fabric because we're going to make a triangle shape. And what we're going to do is measure it to our book to see how big we want it to be. I'm going to cut a little square out, and then we can cut a triangle from there. I think it'll just make it a little bit easier so we don't have so much fabric to work with. Okay, so this will make life a lot easier for us because we won't have to maneuver all that fabric. What we're going to do is line it up to the corner of your book page, and it's going to slightly overlap it, and then you want to cut it at a triangle straight across. So I'm going to cut mine slightly down, probably about where this corner is, maybe a little bit higher, just at a diagonal. So it would sit pretty much like this, which I think is a good size to sit over the page and not slip off. Okay, and then what I want to do for the backing is to get some cardstock that I like the color of. I didn't have any white, so I went with dark green because I like that color. And I'm going to cut a triangle out to match this shape that I can sew to it to make it a little bit stiffer so it holds the page even better. And then I'm just going to trim it down to match in size. So for this next step, I'm going to embroider a little letter on here and then kind of like maybe a little design down here. And I do not have any embroidery experience, so I'm just going to kind of go for it. If you know specific stitches, you could use them here. But I really think if you just get the stitches on here, it's going to look totally fine. Okay, so now that we have our letter on here, I did a little letter T. I'm gonna do some little flowers. So I'm gonna use this purpley blue thread and embroider some little flowers on the sides of the T. So I looked up a video on how to do this, and what you wanna do is start at the base of your flower leaf like this. You're gonna go through all the way, and then bring it back down right next to where you just came through, and you're gonna pull it almost all the way through so that you have a little loop at the end like this. Then you're going to bring your needle through where you want your flower to end and take your little loop and bring it over the needle and then pull through. And it's going to pull a little flower petal. And then from there you go right outside your flower petal to just stitch it down. And we'll just repeat that for however many flower petals we want. So I'll show you again. So we go through and then bring it right down next to where you came through, leaving that little loop. And then we're going to put a stitch at the top and bring it through your loop and then stitch outside of it. Just like that. So I'm going to continue and make a little flower here, and I'm going to wind it up, and then we can add our little vine in. So I went ahead and did what's called a blanket stitch on the bottom here. I just watched a video on how to do that so I can show you guys. And I added in our little vines, and I used the same exact technique that I did for the flower petals for the vines, just in green. The blanket stitch I did on both bottom edges. The back piece I stitched through both the fabric and the cardstock so that they are stitched together. So the cardstock actually made it a lot more supported because with felt fabric it can fray. So it's really important to get that blanket stitch on there really tight and neat so that it doesn't fray. What we are going to do now is do a blanket stitch all around the edging of the top pieces to connect the front and the back. We do not want to blanket stitch the bottom pieces together because that's where your page of your book is going to go in. And you'll notice like my cut is a little bit off over here, but really it's not a big deal because the page is going to be in between here, so you'll never see these sitting side by side unless it's off the book. I'm using that same lilac color, and what we're going to do is in our corner, you're going to poke through front to back. Once you have it pulled tight, you're going to poke through back to front. And then before it all comes through, you want to put your needle through the loop that you're pulling, like this. I'll show you again. We're going to go pull through and then feed your needle through the loop. And you can start to see where it's lining the edges. Okay, and then when you get to your edge, we're just gonna tie it off, give it like 2 or 3 little knots, and then your little book corner is all ready to go. We're gonna make some DIY fire starters. For our fire starters, we're gonna use this same container. I just rinsed it out. This container comes in a kit with some candle wax. This is soy candle wax. And then it also comes with some little stickers to stick your wick down into the base of your candle, or in our case, our fire starters. Comes with a little spoon to stir, a whole bunch of candle wicks, 2 of these little things to hold your wick in place. So it's a really good kit. You get a lot of wax with it, so we're going to use this little kit, and this thing is great because you can put it straight onto the stove so you don't have to do a double broiler situation. For our DIY fire starters, we're going to be putting our candles into little cupcake holders, and we'll use the wick and everything for it, and then we'll add in some other things to make it more suitable for a fire starter. And these fire starters will last for about 45 minutes, and because it's soy wax, it'll just melt off as it heats up in the fire. So these are really great. You can use them in any actual fireplace, obviously not a gas fireplace. So I just poured all of our wax in, and we're just going to start to melt it down. And once it's all melted down, then we can pour it into our cupcake holders with whatever fire starter materials and decorative or scented things we want to add in. Okay, so while our candle wax is melting down, I'm going to start to put in some of our little wicks. So I'm really not sure how much this amount of wax will make. We're going to kind of do this as an experiment and see how much it'll make. I'm going to put these little sticky pads in here, and I just took a little cupcake silicone pan that I had and put 1 in each of them. So this is 12, and I think it'll probably make about that much, but if not, I can always make some more candle wax. So I just put 12 in for now, and then we'll have them ready. What we're going to do is stick these little sticky pads in the bottom and the center, and then take take one of your wicks and just stick it onto the little sticky pad. And then as you pour, you'll move this little guy from one to the next. Okay, so the next thing that I want to add to just kind of prep our fire starters is some dryer lint and some crushed up dried leaves. So both of these are super flammable and just really good fire starter materials, but they're not that cute. So we're going to stick them in the bottom and just kind of brush them up and put them down here so that you don't see them, but you still get the benefits. Okay, so now we're gonna wait for the rest of our candle wax to melt, and then we can pour some over this and then add some of our pretty things on top. So our candle wax is all melted and ready to go. Super, super hot, so be careful. Have my little wick holders. I have 2 of them, so I put them on 2 of my little cupcake holders, and then we can just move them as we go. I'm gonna fill this up to halfway. And it's kind of just like melting everything down, which is good. Now that I have it about halfway, it's melted things down, I'm gonna add my pretty things in, and then we can add some more wax so that it holds them all in place. So I have some dried orange slices I'm gonna add in, and I'll just stick those into the side. And if you have any that are kind of like funny looking like this one, it's perfect to put in here. I also have some lavender buds that we used for our soap. And then I also have some little pine cones that I'll probably stick in at the last minute because they're larger. I also gathered like some little sticks that I thought would be cute. I'm gonna crush up some of these sticks and stick them in here. You can really put anything that you want. So now I'm gonna pour some more of our wax in to fill them up and just kind of hold everything in place. So those 2 are good, and we're gonna move on to our other ones. And I'm gonna try it without the wick holders and see if we even need them for this. Okay, so the amount that came with the kit made us 9 fire starters. I did get a little bit more wax just in case this happens, so I'm going to heat up a little bit more and then we can finish off the last 3 exactly the same. And once they all dry, we'll be able to take them out of the little silicone mold and they'll be ready for you to gift to people.